So it's about when we listen uh, to spiritual talks, we read books. In that moment of listening, um, there's a lot of learning, right? There's something that resonates very deeply. It makes a lot of sense. It brings a lot of clarity when we listen. Um, However, I've noticed that with most of us, in a couple of days, we forget what was discussed. Um, in that moment, it just made so much sense, but then it just slips your mind and you get back to functioning as usual. Um, Unless, you read it again elsewhere or you discuss about it again with someone, it almost gets forgotten and lost. And you also mentioned how you can never fully capture the experience of the knowledge that comes from the witness state, and words never suffice, and you need to experience it to become it and know it. So, having said both of these things, what is the purpose and value of listening to spiritual talks and books?
Actually, there is no purpose and there is no value. Actually, actually, it is, but it can satisfy our mind. Some people don't like it at all. When I was small, we friends used to gather around in a stadium here in my place in the evening. There were nearly 16 people, youngsters. So when we gather there, I just lay down and look at the sky. This is what I do. It was so fantastic to see the sky and reminder. And they go on talking about everything under the sun. Then at a certain point, I feel to talk something and I get up. When I open my mouth, they say, Shanti started his madness. This was what they were saying. He started his madness. But everybody listened my madness. But by listening, they were happy actually. They were happy. Years went by. Then now I see some of them have already gone from this world. Some of them are still, the very few are still existing. When I meet them sometimes, actually, they have sometimes remember and recollect all these things. Some of the very special talks which we have had 50 years ago, they started to recollect now. It has made some impact in their life. And they still recollect all these things. Whether they have changed or not is a different question. But they still hold on this. And so this kind of purpose it does. They can linger on that idea and then can make discussions within themselves. And it may sometimes pave the way for them to go into their inner exploration. And that may sometimes work. When I went to see different masters, as I was saying before, I stopped all kinds of analysis when they were talking. I simply started to listen to them. And many of the things they have said to me, I didn't understand at all. But I was having the feeling that I understood what they were saying. For years, I was feeling that I understood what they were saying. But later, so many years later, I understood what I understood was not what they were saying. So many years later. Shama, Sahana Shakti, Tyaga. Shama means tolerance. perseverance, and sacrifice. These are the essential things of spirituality. Swami was saying almost every day before we concluded our session. Hours. 10 o'clock I go there, morning 5 o'clock is the time I can get back. How many hours I listened this? Every day he was saying this. The day before he passed away, he was not sick or anything. I happened to go to see him. That day also he said this. Every day he says this. And then he said, I wanted to explain this. I know you know all these things, but I wanted to say. Then he said, Kshama. As an example of Kshama, Kshama means tolerance. As an example of Kshama, he said, you should have tolerance like the earth. We do all kinds of atrocities on this earth, but still it is bearing it. As a spiritual person, you need to have this kind of a incredible tolerance to tolerate everything, like the earth tolerates all the things the beings on the planet is doing. This is what I meant by tolerance. Perseverance. You need to have the mind to cross. Maybe you are knocked down, but you need to have the mind to get up and go ahead. You may be knocked down again. Get up from there, go ahead. You may be knocked down several times, but you need to have this inner spirit to get up and go. That is what I meant by perseverance. And then he said, then, this was surprising for me, and then sacrifice. And I knew what is sacrifice. 1979, I met him. And then he passed away in 2000. Every time I met him, I was not in India for many years. But every time I got back, I used to go and see him. Every day he says this. And that night he said, sacrifice is when you establish intolerance and perseverance, you feel that you have managed. And that feeling will come to you. Sacrifice that feeling. I meant sacrifice in that sense. Likewise, whatever you get or you feel you're acquired, sacrifice that feeling. Then you are spiritual. And he said the last day, and I was really thinking, so many years I have been visiting him, he was saying the same thing, but I took it very easily. I didn't understand. And then when he passed away, the next morning I got the news that he left. And then it became such an incredible teaching. He's no more. What he said at the last day reminded me, because for that there was a great sacrifice. You understand? So many things we may not understand what the other one is speaking. We try to understand things on the basis of what we know. That's the only way. There is no other way. And we try to figure it out on the basis of our knowledge, and we feel we understood. For the time being, we understood in that way. And over the years, by life experiences, we will understand the meaning and significance of all the words which we heard through different mouths. And then later you feel that you are very blessed because you have heard all these things directly, though you didn't understand anything at the time. You've always been thinking that you have understood, but you have not understood anything. And the moment when you feel that you are nothing, you're nothing, you have not understood anything, and then you open up completely, and then whatever is falling on that empty container will fill the container. And that's you. And then you feel tremendous grace and tremendous gratitude for every moment and every word that you heard some years ago. And also what is been coming to you in the present, you will feel that, because it is how comes you happen to be here. You have no idea. For some reason you came to be here. You came here. And then it is showing something. Even if we don't understand now, we will understand later. When our mind is emptied, every drop that is falling on that will be like pearls and great gems. That will be your precious gift that you get in this world from your masters. So nothing is going to be a waste, even if we don't understand. And this is such a fantastic feeling. When you start to feel this, you really feel what an amazing thing it is. You feel tremendous gratitude. And we are going to understand things like this. Every meeting that you have had, not only masters, they all taught you something. They all given great opportunities for us even to understand the unsettled part of our mind. People are stimulating our unsettled mind continuously. We feel very angry at them, but they are great teachers. They have shown every moment of our life is showing something which is not settled. And this is the way we live and grow. That's the only way. Alongside with that, the teachings that you heard directly also will do some great impact, really great impact. Now, when I look into my own life story, and so many masters I've seen, so many of them, of which everybody has gone, except one person who loved few people. We used to go there very much. He had some expectations about us. And that man is existing now. You know how many years old he is? 116 years old.
Wow.
He's still living somewhere. Where in Mogambiga. He is still existing. He cannot see, he cannot hear, but he is healthy. There are some people in the group have seen him. He is still existing. 2 years ago, I went there and I saw him. Their kindness, their openness, their compassion, their love really helped you to grow more than what they said. That's so different. Their presence in your life is the greatest richness that you can have. Because with their life, they have shown something tremendous, which is their love, that is nothing else. They were so affectionate people, selfless, affectionate people, only looking for your growth, like great growth. That's what they are looking for, nothing else. And I have met few people like that. And their presence is an ever permanent reality for me. Maybe many of the words they have said, I have understood later. And those words are still there, but more than those words, their presence was still there with me. I'm very contented with their presence. I feel that they are with me. They are in me. Nobody has gone anywhere. And so that makes you contented. This is my experience. So then talking, we can listen. It will do something. If you remain silent, that will be better maybe. So there will be not much meaning in the talks, because in communicating, by verbal communication, the listener will analyze and understand on the basis of what the listener knew so far. And more than that, the listener may not understand. So that is why it's a meaningless affair at that time. That is the first sentence I said. And later, when you grow, it will be a great sensation for you, because, oh, this is what he said 35 years ago. Oh my God, I missed it. And that feeling is an enriching feeling for you. If the master is not there, that will be tremendous if you are unlucky. So this is how it is going. Verbal communication has its very big limitation. But the feeling has bigger possibility. The feelings that they have emitted, they shared, really try to unify you with them. Look and transform, not hear and transform. You just look and transform. And that is how it is in my experience.
Can this presence also be passed on in books and writing? Can you feel the presence when you read books written by them?
Certainly. There are some great people have the skill also in communicating their feelings. Even if you have not seen some special people, when you go through their reading, when you go through their books, so many rare people have the skill in transmitting the emotion which they wanted to transmit. Very few people, not all. So far, there is no image in what they are trying to communicate. You can associate with their writing. And if they are talking about something coming from their image, certainly you may not feel very great, because it's a projection. At the same time, if a person is talking like an innocent baby, you may not forget it, because you have that innocence within you. They address the innocence. You can harmonize with that in no time. The difficulty, the barrier in communicating is the ego of the talker and the listener. If you are out of that, communication will take place 100%. The barrier is that in everything in communication. The barrier is the image, the pride, the ego. So it takes away the beauty of becoming one through communication. Communication leads to communion. Communion means we are not different. It's a celebration because you've forgotten every hold on yourself. That's the moment you become one. Verbal communication finishes there. Then it's only ecstasy and celebration. I remember when I met a master the last time, after so many years, after maybe 15 years, I was seeing him. That was the master who, on a particular night, on a small hilltop, there is a temple. We met there. He was talking about Sankhya philosophy. I was here in Sankhya at the first time. He was such a great master that when he talks, you feel that you understand everything. He has an incredible voice, absolute calmness, involved in totally in what he's talking, and such a fantastic person. I heard Sankhya philosophy from his mouth on that particular night in an open space on a hilltop. I understood everything. The next day, when I was trying to recollect, nothing was coming. Actually. Then I was very eager actually to understand. And then over the years, suddenly I understood because what I heard was there somewhere, but I couldn't understand it. Then later it understood. And then the last time when I met him, when I went there, he was sitting on an easy chair in his private room. And I was led to go and meet him there. So I went to his room. I was sitting on an easy chair and he was looking at my face. And then he was smiling and smiling and laughing and laughing and laughing. He was not saying anything after 15 years. The meeting after 15 years. He made me laugh like anything. He was not saying anything. He was simply smiling and then ended up in laughter. I continued this for a long time. Then he asked me, "What are you doing now?" I said, "I am going here and there and talking about many things I heard from you and people like you." So he said, "Oh," and then exactly what you are talking. I said, "Recently I was talking about Patanjali's Yoga Sutra." So he said, "Okay, you should read Brahma Sutra." He was talking about Brahma Sutra when we were meeting. You should read Brahma Sutra, which is the basic book of Jnana Yoga. And he said that. I said, "Definitely I will read. I heard from you, but I will read." Then he took a diary and a pen, which was nearby him. And he asked me, "Okay, you say what is Yoga Sutra of Patanjali?" A master. A master. He was asking, I was really in a troubled condition to speak to him about Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. Really made me so in a very, very special state. And I started something where he was pushing and pushing. Started something. He started to write down as a student. He started to write down as a student. It was such a fantastic. They are incredible beings that every meeting they teach you something. With their innocence, with their humbleness, with their love, with their compassion, and the gratitude for having this moment in their life. Allow them to be here at this moment. So everything that is coming is very, very valuable for them, even when it is coming from a disciple. So it's all feeling. It's not anything intellectual, nothing. And that enriches you like anything. And all these things remain with you as a as a perennial source, as well a great presence, like a great guidance till the rest of your life. When I talk about these people, I become very in a special trance. It's a beautiful thing. I was blessed in coming across some people like that. Anyway, that was nice that you pushed me to recollect my great time with special beings. Thank you very much.